What's up, everybody? This is Attunement Podcast number 13. I'm Harry. This is my friend Samek.
Hola, señor.
Oh, shit. Breaking out the Spanish. And today's experiment is we're going to do the whole podcast in Spanish. And we're gonna say whatever comes through us. So, we're not going to try to say it right. We're not going to think about what to say. We're just going to be like, oh, yeah, I was thinking this thing. And now, but when I say that, actually, I'm thinking this thing. You'll hear it. You'll get it. You got me.
I'm gonna start.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, what you learning about, Mr. Tossig?
Mr. Tossig has been learning about feeling good. So, I don't think I said this in the last podcast. There was a Joe Hudson masterclass Q&A. Whatever, he was doing his rapid fire coaching. I asked him an intellectual question. I was like, Mr. Joe, I was like, Mr. Joe, I want to play hacky sack with you someday, which I'm proud of saying because I do, because I'm into hacky sack and he's into hacky sack. Second, I was like, whenever I check my body, my whole body feels really good. But then I get stuck in my head, and then there's like a little bit of tension in my sternum or something, and then I get hyper focused, and then I try to fix it. And then I'm like, why am I trying to fix it? And then I try to fix myself out of trying to fix it. How do I fix that? and he was like, he was straight up. The first thing he said, he was like, pleasure. And I was like, whoa. I was like, I thought you were going to be like, get angry. I thought you were going to be like, feel your grief. I thought you were going to be like, feel your abandonment. But now he's just like, pleasure. And I asked him a little bit more about it, and I could say more. But so for the last 5 or 6 days, I've been grinding pleasure. I've been feeling more pleasure than anyone else. Get out of my face. And I had a coaching call with another Art of Accomplishment person, Janine, today, and it was on the same pattern. And she kept on like bringing me back to like, wait, you feel really good right now and you're avoiding it. Like your edge is feeling good, not like expressing your anger or something. And she's like, what's going on in your center? I'm like, it's pretty good. She's like, yeah, pretty good, huh? She's like, it seems like you're cutting off the goodness the way you're saying that. And something she said that I also really liked was, she's like, got it. So Harry's, it's pretty good, is most people's like, this is absolutely fucking extraordinary. Because also, when I first started being able to access this pleasure and peace, I literally cried for 20 minutes straight. And that was on whatever podcast back when I read the Winnie the Pooh quote. And it's just like looking at grass and being like, oh my God, it's so fucking beautiful. So I'm practicing feeling good. I'm practicing building capacity for joy and pleasure without guilt and shame. And I have to go here, so I'm just going to go here right now. I got into country music 2 days ago. And I know what you're thinking. Harry, country music is ass. Harry, country music is heteronormative and it's Republican. Shut up. Shut up. There's at least thousands of country songs that are fucking beautiful. And what are they about? We know everyone's favorite country song, Chicken Fried. I like a little bit of chicken fried, cold beer on a Friday night, pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio on. Are you fucking kidding me? You know why you don't like country music? Because you're scared. Because you're scared of pleasure. That simple. Because you've made your life complicated. Fuck you. Pleasure's not complicated. It's simple, and it's right here, right now, waiting for you. Just like God. Get out of my face. So I've been listening to country music, and man, it's just fucking beautiful. It's about the simple pleasures of life. It's about hanging out with your friends. It's about pure love for your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. It's about just like a woman being really pretty. It's about having a crush on a guy. It's about, there's one other thing. Oh yeah, it's about like your son or your daughter, or it's about your mom or your dad. It's about how life's short, or it's about gratitude, or it's about God, or it's about how heaven, how this is so good. I hope heaven is like this. Shut the fuck up. This shit rocks. Get out of my face. Ask me for my country playlist. Number one rec is the song. Number one rec is the song Backseat Driver, which is beautiful, which is this dad's in his car with his daughter and different things happen. So like a woman flips him off on the highway, and his 4-year-old daughter is like, oh, why was she so mad? And then she's like, oh, did you see that dog, Dad? And then she's like, do squirrels have houses in the tree? And she's like, wait, why do bees have stingers? So it's just like his little daughter opening up his sense of wonder. And it's fucking beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. It made me cry in the car, and that's how I got into country music. And I'll pause there.
Bang. I have no questions. That sounded all so comfortable and beautiful.
Boom. Yeah, I've it's interesting because the thought loops I was in to avoid the pleasure were fake in some sense, but they were also real in some sense, and I'm sure they'll come back, and they're not entirely gone at all, but they're just becoming less and less believable. And I would say also my connection to higher power or God is like, because sometimes I get trapped into them, but literally my principal experiment of the day is ask God. And so when I really get stuck, I'm just like, God, what do I do? And he's like, you're good. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, do I have a real question for God? I'm like, God, how do I enjoy this more? And he's like, you can answer that yourself. You got it. I'm like, oh yeah, I can. Anything else? One thing I'm finding interesting is, so I guess pleasure is like pretty intense. And so in the same way as if I was, let's say, cooking dinner or like doing work. And so like work for me today was like chopping wood and stacking wood. And so when I was doing that and I tried to feel pleasure, it would kind of be like too much, and I would get overwhelmed, and then I would like get stuck in my head. So I didn't actually really want to do that much. But when I sit down and do nothing except focus on pleasure, it's just like super enjoyable. It just rocks. And so it's just interesting to me how focusing on my pleasure actually truly takes mental capacity as well at this point for me. Yeah, and that's surprising. That has been surprising to me, because when I first started my experiments this week, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to do pleasure all the time, because that's just like bonus points on everything. That'll make everything easier. And overall it has, but it actually like, it still takes intention and energy to focus on something you're not used to focusing on. So it's not, I'm less and less doing it every single moment, and more doing it separately, and then letting it bleed into things. Bang. Cool. Going to Samek. What are you learning right now?
Right now?
Not like right now. I'll go today.
Today. I'm also on the same train as Harry, but I'm like freaking out. Like I have to do nothing, but I want to be, there's like the self-reliant pattern that I have is going absolutely crazy, and I'm freaking the fuck out. And I think right before we started the podcast, I did like a little emotional release. There's just like this like bundle of grief around all of that. And then going into the podcast, and Harry going off about pleasure, I'm just like having so much pleasure that I'm sweating and my arms are sweaty and my armpits are sweaty. I'm just like, fuck. I have so much pleasure anxiety that I'm like freaking out even with listening to Harry talk about pleasure. And that's like all I've been freaking out about for like the past few days, which is like, it feels like I shared this with a friend of mine where I was doing a view conversation with, which is like, it feels like if I acknowledge that I'm avoiding pleasure, it becomes pleasurable. If I
Yeah.
if I'm in the pleasure, it becomes pleasurable. So the only thing I can do is shame myself to avoid the pleasure. So I've been like, what's been happening is like pleasure is everywhere and I'm fucked. Like the universe is fucking me from all directions and it's really cool. And I don't know how to avoid it. So then I start shaming myself. So I've been caught between pleasure and shame all week. And it's been like kind of hell, but also like not that much of a hell. It's just more like a like I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do.
Dude, I got on the universe fucking you in all directions. I mean, literally last week I asked for 10 people to all play fight me and like destroy me. And that was like, I want to be destroyed by the universe and be forced to accept the pleasure of the universe.
I don't have that yet. I have not accepted
Yeah.
it. I'm just like getting fucked and I don't know what to do and I'm freaking out. That's like the current thing. I'm freaking out so hard. It's like freaking me out.
And I'm kind of gonna view question you here, but like it seems to me like you're buying the story a little bit. So what's the story you're buying here?
I'm buying the story that I can't handle the pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
It is really intense. Like
I believe you.
it is really intense as Harry was talking, my whole body was sweating and tingling. And I'm like, fuck, I can't avoid it because I'm gonna give Harry my full attention. And he's like, he's having it. He's letting himself get fucked, and I'm not. I'm sweating my balls off right now. Fuck. And it's real scary.
My favorite thing to call out Samek for is he does different versions of, dude, this is so crazy. And I'm calling you out again as like, this is so crazy as also many things, but one of the things being is like, this is so intense, I can't handle it. And whenever you say that, I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're obviously handling it. And you obviously like it too. So also shut up.
It's a pattern. And it's like, no, I don't deserve it.
No. The
The
universe is
too much.
making out with me from every direction at all times.
Yeah. That's what I'm learning today and right now. And I think the question that keeps coming up in my head is how good can you let yourself have it? And it's like, oh fuck. It's life is awesome and beautiful.
If you had to say what's scary or anxiety provoking about pleasure, what would you say?
And for me, there's like a lot of grief right now. Like I'm noticing like I don't want to talk because I'm scared that I'll end up crying. Cause it's like, wow. Like, wow. It's like, what? It's just like here, man. It's just like here. Like, what?
As a wise man once said, a little bit of chicken fried.
Oh man, I just yeah, it's freaks me out because I have nothing. I have nothing to hold on. It's like I have nothing to do.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do. Like I made green curry yesterday, and like I ate it really fast, and I noticed it, and I slowed down, and then I had intense pleasure as I was having this Thai green curry. I was like, fuck. I hugged my cat, and I saw him. He was crying, and I like cried with my cat. And I was like, wow, this feels so special.
Yeah.
and everything like feels so special every moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And it feels like, for me, it like feels like I don't deserve it. It's like too much for me.
Mm.
So then I project it. It's like I'm too much. It's too much. It's killing me, dude. It's killing me. As in,
Nah, no, it's
yeah,
not.
like the stories that I'm holding on to, they're all like being broken down.
Mm.
The stories around like what I
Yeah,
deserve and what I like, how much love I get to have, and it's like every direction I look, I'm getting loved so hard, and
dude, true.
I have to avoid it, or I'll like everything I believed till now has been a lie, and
Yeah.
it's like fuck, I've been lying to myself for so long. And it's, yeah, that's the intensity. It's like the pleasure kills you, and like the stories that you thought you, all the stories that keeps you hiding.
Nah, you're fine.
I am fine.
uh,
Over and over again.
I might have already told you this, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is like maybe a week ago. I forgot if I said it on the last podcast, but I would just, oh, maybe, did I tell this on the last podcast? Stop me if I did. But it's basically that there'd be strangers here and I'd just start having a good conversation with a stranger. Okay. And literally, so I have a new ability to authentically be myself with strangers if I trust them enough. And like a funny one was like with my eye doctor. It's a virtual eye doctor appointment. So literally with my eye doctor on Zoom. But man, we were vibing. We were vibing. We were locked in. At the end of our 6 minutes together, that man literally, Mark Cutler literally said, "Thanks for playing with me, man." I was like, oh my God. I was like, couldn't have done it without you. It was a pleasure. Have a good one. And that shit felt so good. And I felt so much pleasure and joy from it and like being seen. And I felt a bunch of like guilt and shame and like fear. And it's like, oh, maybe I was too this, like maybe I was too much, basically.
Yeah.
And the amount of connection I could get with 6 minutes with my fucking eye doctor on Zoom was crazy. And then random strangers here at the events at the retreat center I'm volunteering at, like I would have like a 2-minute conversation in the morning. And like they would ask me about art of accomplishment or something like twice. And I'd just be like, oh my God, like everyone sees me and loves me. I'm gonna die. Yeah.
And I'm crying because something that's been happening this week is I've been cooped up in my apartment because I'm scared to interact with strangers because it's too pleasurable. I've been
Yeah.
so terrified to go outside. I'm gonna die. The story is I'm not gonna be able to handle the pleasure.
Yeah.
And so like it's like I look at someone and I know nothing about them, and I'm like, wow, I love this person. And I'm like, fuck, oh no, and then the shame, it's like the intensity of love of us for a stranger, and then like the shame is like for me is intense, and the story goes, I can't handle it, and I'm like, and then I hide in my apartment. And then Harry asked me, can I share this?
Go. I don't know what you're gonna say, but yes.
Yeah, Harry asked me to live with him, and then like I was so like in the hole, like this exact hole, and then I freaked the fuck out because I felt so much love for Harry, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna kill me. Oh no, I don't want to live with Harry, and I freaked out. I freaked out so hard. Right when he called me and asked me this, and I'm like, abada, abada, and I'm like, no, I don't want to live with you. And then I cried. But like the no was fake, the abada was fake, all of it is fake. I'm just avoiding pleasure because it's so intense.
I wanna jump in on one of the things that can be scary about pleasure for me is like there's nothing to do. And so I have work trading at this retreat center. I work 25 hours a week. I like have my own. I mark my hours myself. No one would notice if I did like, I don't know, like 15 hours or whatever. And it's like if I let in the pleasure, like, am I gonna get my fucking hours done? Like, if I let in the pleasure, am I gonna do anything today other than just like sit here in pleasure? Like, if I let in the pleasure, like, am I gonna fucking eat? And that's the fear that comes up. It's like I'm never gonna do anything ever again. And then I do shit. I'm recording this podcast right now. I drank some milk. I I did 2 hours of work today. And also if I don't get all my hours done, it's okay. Yeah. But that one does still have me a little bit. Yeah.
It's really interesting because the experience is like there's nothing to do, and then I create this like resistance in my sternum, and then it like starts like wrapping itself on itself, and then it becomes this like massive ball of resistance on nothing. And there's actually nothing in the center but pleasure and peace. But there's like this, and then I'm like, what do I do with this? I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out. And then before this podcast, the emotional quote unquote release, all bullshit. In my opinion, just me avoiding pleasure. But it's been like that thing of like resisting the resistance to the resistance of nothing.
Yes.
It's been happening every day for me for the past week, and it's been really intense. Is the story, which is another resistance, another story, but like, oh my god, I am doing it, and I guess I will love that I'm doing it, and that's the only thing I could do.
You don't even have to do that.
I don't have to do. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. I don't have to do anything.
You're already doing it. You're already doing it. God's got you. I'm insecure about saying God, and I'm saying that, and that's okay. And dude, you exactly described my experience, including the sternum. The tension also starts in my sternum for me, and then the resistance to nothing / pleasure at the bottom, and it's really pleasure at the bottom and not nothing, which makes it make a little more sense to me. And then when this gets big enough, then it gets like in my head, or I'd really say my mind. And I think this might fuck you either right now or later. It's a lot easier for me to feel pleasure in my entire body than my neck and especially my head. And so the last pleasure meditation I was doing, I was doing it just on my head. And that's really interesting because it's like, I'm like, no, my head and my mind are where it's tension, and I just think all the time, and I'm stuck in thought loops. I was like, well, what if I feel pleasure in my head? And when I also feel pleasure in my head and my throat with all the resistance and shit that's going on here, it's like, oh shit, there's really nothing to hold on to. And oh shit, this is really fucking good. Yeah.
No, fuck me. When it does. My head is like, I love it. It's like trying to figure out. I was like, are you listening to the pleasure, like guy?
Yeah. Hey, you guys can have it. Honestly, this is banger. I'm surprised they put it out for free. But view.life/experiments, and then there's the pleasure audio, 15-minute Joe Hudson pleasure audio. That shit, bro, that shit's valuable. If you've never done that before, I really, really highly recommend doing it at least once.
It's kind of hard to access if you don't have a lot of emotional fluidity in your torso, but I realize that always your hands are like your hands can have like doesn't store any trauma usually unless something happened to your hands. So like feeling the tingles in your hands is always available. But then it's everywhere. The tingles are everywhere. And you're like, fuck. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Anything else here for you, sir?
Yeah, the freedom. Oh, the people thing is really fucking with me because I'm like more and more isolating myself. And the reason is I interact with someone and I fall in love with them. Is the experience. And it's really intense. Like, and I know it's never gonna be reciprocated. But I'm interacting with like this random dude I met for the first time boxing, and I'm like, wow, I love this dude. And then this girl, and I'm like, wow, I love how she plays, and I love this about her, and this about her, and this about her. And there's like so much pleasure in just seeing them interact with each other. And it's freaking me out. It's like really freaking me out. So then
What do you love about yourself?
It's all projections. I like love how much he plays, and I love how confident he is, and the way he talks, and all of these little things that everyone has. And
What do you
they're
love
such
about yourself?
qualities. I love that I have so much pleasure, and I love that I'm not running away. I'm not running away from the fact that I'm running away from it.
Love to see that.
But I didn't see it fully clearly that I was like, before you went off on your thing, that I was avoiding people because of this. Because I I got really confused because I came back from reunion, and I'm usually like a really social guy. I'm pretty extroverted. I love talking to people. But I noticed the moment I came back, I interacted with like 2 or 3 people, and I immediately started avoiding everyone.
Dude, I feel that I totally feel that.
I was like, what am I doing? What's happening? And I'm like slowly realizing it's like, oh fuck. Oh, that's what's happening. I am loving people. I am feeling pleasure in their being and their presence, and just like every little way that they show up. And it's all, I want to cry saying it's all so lovely. Humans are so beautiful.
Dude, on Saturday, I straight up talked to a dude for 2 minutes, and I was cooked for the day. I was like overwhelmed with pleasure for like 7 hours. I was like, that dude was way too nice to me.
I can't handle it. It's like, I can handle my parents. But even that is like, I love my parents now so much that even their like love is too much for me. And I'm just like cooped up in my apartment, and I'm like, oh, my cat is chill. I just hang out with my cat, and that's been nice.
I mean, and also just for like I don't know, I want to positively reframe your avoidance. Like, you know, we need time to build capacity for pleasure. So like, it makes sense to not do it all at once.
Yeah. I will. This has been the most intense. This is a story. I'm talking stories. This is all stories. Blah blah blah. I'm stories.
Stories are allowed.
But the story is this feels more intense than when I let anger in for the first time. And when I let anger in for the first time, I was so cooked that I would take cold showers, completely freezing shower. I wouldn't feel anything in my body because my body was so.
That's crazy.
I would like turn on the cold shower and I would look at it, and it hit me, and my nervous system was so fried that I would just be like, huh. This is last masterclass after doing anger releases every day with Harry for like a month. I was so cooked. It was gonzos.
That sounds unhelpfully intense. It sounds like you went too hard to me.
It happened, and it happened.
It happened.
It happened, and I got over it. And anger's pretty flowy now and feels really fucking pleasurable too. It's all pleasurable. No, it's all pleasurable. All of it's pleasurable.
Pleasure is a chore. Pleasure is a chore. Avoid it at all costs. And you know, the classic Joe Hudson one, which is a banger, is like he said this when I asked him the questions. It's like, we just ran reunion. We ran an in-person retreat, and people do anger for 45 minutes. But if we do pleasure for like 15 minutes, everyone's cooked. Everyone's cooked, and they start avoiding it, and they can't handle it. So Joe says that definitely at first, and maybe in general, it takes people longer, or it's harder for them to build capacity for the positive emotions, and that they tend to be more intense.
Yeah. I'm feeling very seen. I'm feeling incredibly grateful that me and Harry are basically like aligned in the journey that we're taking. And this podcast itself is such a beautiful time capsule. Every episode is so like the me that shows up in every episode is so me at that time, and it blows my mind at the pace we're moving on all of this. It's so beautiful. Anyways, going back to you.
Wait, I want to jump in on that. Something, I actually said this on a previous podcast, but I'm just seeing more and more how we're all connected. I'm seeing more and more. I'm seeing more and more how the insights that flow through me or Samek also flow through our friends, also flow through our communities, and then with how hyper connected our little online communities are with Art of Accomplishment and like Teapot, if you know Teapot, like these Twitter circles and a bunch of different writers online. It's like once it goes through like 10 of those people, it's going to start spreading out, and it's going to hit us, and it's going to hit you, and it's going to hit our friends. And, you know, from what I've seen, like one that really hit me is like when I got into emotional work pretty deeply and Art of Accomplishment stuff like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago. It's been a pretty short time. 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And I was like, oh, like I'm on this vibe, like no one else is on this vibe, like I'm ahead of everyone else. And then you look up and like literally like 1 or 2 years later, it's like literally my mom is an executive coach. What?
Really?
And then like, yeah.
What? That's awesome.
And then like everyone, I don't know, like all over Instagram and TikTok is like all these people talking about like the exact same therapy concepts. And you know, like I do think me and Samek have a somewhat deeper understanding of these ideas than most people. But also I think this shit goes through the whole culture pretty fucking fast. And even if it gets diluted a little bit, still goes through everyone. Yeah, I mean, it honestly does still go through everyone. And that's pretty cool. That makes me feel less like I need to go like chase the insights, and more like, oh, like, dude, me and like probably literally 1 million people are on pretty much the same boat. And like I can get like 2 steps ahead of the boat. I can exert a shit ton of energy and get 2 steps ahead of the boat, or I can just sit on the boat because we're really all taking this trip together. Like literally probably like 1 million or at least 100,000 of us, I would say, are pretty much on the same boat in terms of like cultural, spiritual, emotional development. Yeah.
It's the funniest thing. Yeah, it's oh my god. It's so funny. It's so funny. I'm thinking about so a lot of young people are now taking the connection course. Like my age, 23.
Do it. If you haven't taken the connection course and you're listening to this, my instinct was to threaten you, but I don't know. I want to control you into taking it, but I don't know how to. So
Yeah.
take it, or you're stupid. What were you gonna say?
Like, there's all these people, young people taking connection course, and they come out of it, and I'm like having a view conversation with them, and they're like, they have such emotional fluidity, and they're so locked in, and there's so many of them, and they're all so locked in, and I'm like,
dude, you have to. All right, wait.
They've listened to all the
you need to tell me about all of them. I need you to tell me about all of them after the podcast. And also, if you're listening to this, you know, age is just a number. But I'm gonna say if you're in your 20s or younger, if you're 18 through 29 and you've taken the connection course, please DM me on Twitter. I want to be your friend. And I want to take over the world together with you. And I want to start a utopian cult with you. I'm joking. I'm also not joking, as always. Anything else? Sorry.
I do want to add that it is projection. Like it is my projection that the world is at our pace, and it is your projection, because like we can only see me or you. Like we can only see what we are at any moment. And I know that like I have friends who don't touch any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're completely out of the loop. And there's a lot of people as well. And AOA is like the 30th highest podcast for self-help or something in Spotify. So
Bang.
It's like we're going to a more awake, not awake, I don't know what the fucking word, more connected, loving world is what I like to say.
I like that. I like how you said that. And yeah, it just takes different. We'll just go through people at different depths at different speeds. But I do think there's a boat of 100,000 of us that's very, very connected and moving together like a continent shifting over time, but really fast.
This makes me think about like I had this conversation with someone before, which is like there is a tipping point. I feel like in culture where like once the non-mainstream thing that's way better than the mainstream thing starts like encapsulating more and more and more people, it gets to a point where it's maybe like 20%, not even 20, like 5% of the it becomes like from 5% to like 100% really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Where that it accelerates a lot quicker once there's a large group of people doing this, and it works way better than the established thing. And I'm excited to get to that tipping point whenever that is.
I would bet on that happening in our lifetimes. Yeah, I mean, right? Like Joe Hudson literally coaches Sam Altman and like OpenAI. Like this shit is definitely influencing the most powerful tech companies in the world, and those things have a lot of technological and cultural influence. Like this shit's coming. But I'm good on this thread. Anything else for you?
No, I'm gonna go back to you. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, I was hoping you'd ask me that, because last time Samek asked me this, he said, "What's on the horizon?" And I said, "I'm gonna come to Earth dance soon, where I am now. I'm gonna get safety injected into my bones," which is the same thing I said with that stranger in that 2-minute conversation where I felt intensely seen in a good way, but also an overwhelming way. And now I've had safety injected in my bones, and now I feel really fucking good. So, go me. Boom. What's next? Ah, Jesus Christ. Let's see. What's on the horizon, dude? Let's be real, everybody. Let's be real. We know what's on the horizon. God's on the horizon. Okay, how do I want to be with? So I feel insecure talking about God. I really like Rob Burbea. So in Rob Burbea's Soul Making, which is there's deconstructing reality, there's constructing reality, and then there's playfully constructing reality. And I'd say Rob Burbea's Soul Making is about playfully constructing reality in increasingly beautiful and meaningful and varied ways. And so a very beautiful and meaningful and sacred way of constructing reality for me is to talk about and think about and interact with God. And a concept I also really like from Robert Bea is, just to put it in this context, would be, is God real? Not quite. Is God imagined? Not quite. So that's what I mean. That's the extent to which I'm reifying God, which is the thing I'm insecure about. I'm still insecure about it. And with that out of the way, God is on the horizon. I don't know if you've heard, but God loves everyone unconditionally, including me, and I like that. And I don't know if you've heard, but God pervades all of reality, including me and you and strangers. And a fun way of looking that I heard from Daniel Thorson, the quick version would be like, feel the ground and how the ground is holding you, and let your heart open and your defenses drop to feel the ground holding you. And you don't have to do anything. And reality just holds you, right? Like physics and the earth and the ground, that's all reality. Reality is just holding you. And it's like, this one I would say is just like, you could look at the visual field or your sensations. I'm going to go with the visual field, or all of reality. I'll go with the visual field, and like, oh, the visual field is just holding itself. Or you could even say like, God is holding your visual field for you. God is holding all of your experience for you. God is pervading your entire experience. And even when you avoid your feelings, God is feeling you and seeing you and whatever is happening for you. And there's nothing you need to do. That rocks. So God's on the horizon in the form of playful constructions, in the form of feeling increasingly held, feeling increasing joy and sacredness and meaning, and also in trusting myself more. I mean, even the way I'm speaking right now, I literally just had a moment of like, how am I so confident about what's on the horizon? Because God. and another thing that I mean by that being on the horizon is like calling, instead of taking action, Harry, I'm gonna take action. Like, I, Harry, am gonna surrender to God and let God move me. And God seems to be taking me to Maple, the monastic academy, for at least a month after summer camp. But we'll see what happens. And there was one other piece on God. Again, country music rocks. What's up?
Yeah, I had a Daniel Brotman is doing this cool program with Chloe Good, who's like this attachment healing person. And I thought she was amazing. And I saw her on a podcast with someone else, and I thought she was amazing. So I set up a call and I talked to her, and she was like, oh yeah, all this attachment work that we do is to clean up this vessel so that soul can move you. And the next step is to listen to soul or God or heart or whatever you want to call it. But that thing that is whispering, always has been whispering, that's what you're like, we're cleaning out to be able to hear fully in a way where it moves you. And then she was describing her like little experiences where like, it's like, what does soul want me to eat? What does soul want like the shopping list to be today? What this soul, it's like little, like she just like, you can ask the soul anything and it has an answer for you. And you just move from soul and you have no idea what the fuck is going on because you don't have any idea why soul is making you do. You know, it's like you're going out on a sunny day and soul is like, oh, take an umbrella with you. And then you go out and it starts like pouring and you're like, how did that work? I don't know, but soul told me to take an umbrella. So there's like an aspect of allowing you to, like, if you trust soul, if you have faith in God, then you can surrender into the present moment and the future will take care of itself.
And yes, we are saying that all of you should have more faith in God, and you are bad if you don't. You heard it here first.
That's how we work here. We shame you so that you do exactly what we say. That's how.
You guys, I'm insecure about who I am, so I need you all to be more like me, and it's gonna work. And also, you know, same thing I said about reifying God or not. Same thing with soul. Not quite real, but not quite imagined. That's one of the many defining characteristics of Robert Ray's soul making dharma of I forget what he calls them, but something like, he doesn't call them spirits. So it's like the imaginal, whatever, an imagined being or something. And he actually defines soul as that which makes your experience soulful. And soulful kind of meaning making things feeling sacred or meaningful. So I really like that definition of soul too. Yeah.
I'm resisting pleasure right now.
And God loves you anyway.
Dang.
I mean, is there anything else there? I did have one more thing because there was calling, God. I'm going to be at this summer camp, so that's definitely on the horizon. Camp Stomping Ground. Check it out. I'm super excited to work there. It's kind of like nonviolent communication, restorative justice, facing conflict summer camp, but also just regular summer camp. So I'm really excited to see their culture. Yeah, so I think there'll just be lots of play and fun and emotions and connection. That's also on the horizon. That's also God. And more country music. Bang.
Dang.
Anything else on that part, sir? I mean, we got it. What's on the horizon for you, sir?
I'm taking masterclass. First week, first day, masterclass with Art of Accomplishment starts on Friday. I had my call with, I don't know if I can share this, but I'm an old student, so I have additional calls with the facilitators and stuff like that I won't talk about. But it's starting for me. It's happening, and I'm excited. And I remember last episode talking about like I'm gonna work on this and this, but I'm probably just gonna work on pleasure anxiety the entirety of masterclass.
Nice.
I think that's it. I'm like realizing all my problems are made up right now because it's all just pleasure anxiety. The summer I am living alone in my apartment, and then I want to do dance and all these stuff that I find pleasurable. But more so than anything, I just want my capacity to interact with people to increase again. And I think that's what's on the horizon, is just interacting with people. And
you know what's helpful for that?
What?
Pleasure.
Funny. Yeah. What else is on the horizon? When you said God was in the horizon, I went like a big smile, because if for me, I was like, oh, I want to listen to my soul in making decisions. Because that was like what I took away from my conversation with Chloe Good, because I was basically talking about this thing of like, I'm having a hard time. I'm spinning in my head, and it's making it really complicated. And she's like, have you ever asked Soul to make your to-do list? Have you asked Soul what you're going to do next? And I'm like, no. And she's like, try it out. Once you have a line with Soul, once you have that connection, it just flows. It just unfolds, and there's absolutely nothing to do. Because I was asking her as well, because another thing that's on the horizon is I'm starting a coaching business. Hit me up if you want to be coached. I'm doing it. It is very much Art of Accomplishment style, very much I am providing my capacity for you to unfold in your own loving way with your own wisdom, but your capacity and my capacity together, and it's going to be awesome. Anyways, I was talking about how I should market. How do I market, Chloe? You have such an amazing executive coaching business that you've had for 20 years. How did you do it? How do I market? And she was like, I just listened to Soul, and Soul told me to do this, and Soul told me to do that, and then now I have a successful executive coach. And I'm like, fuck. I just have to like the only thing she keeps pointing back is like, oh, surrender, by the way, surrender. I'm like, fuck you. So there's an aspect of me resisting the universe loving me.
And it, as someone who would definitely be uncomfortable with God or soul in the past, I want to say, for anyone who feels triggered or like that's not true or it's dumb or that's dangerous, if you're interested to see God or higher power or soul the way I see it and like get a lot of value out of. Yeah, Robert Bay's soul making dharma, you can look into that, or you can look into the first chapters of Alcoholics Anonymous. Step 1 of Alcoholics Anonymous is basically surrender to a higher power, or really step 1, and I'm going to get the wording wrong, but it's basically accept or admit or see that there is a power higher than your ego that
Ego being the key word here.
Yes, that can help you. That can, in Alcoholics Anonymous, that can restore you to sanity. But and that clicked for me. Also the way Alcoholics Anonymous talks about higher power is so banger, and so it's honestly just interesting and cool to see. And something that clicked for me, seeing you talk about that, is like we can process the negative emotions and still pretend we're driven by our ego and figuring things out. We can like figure out, oh, I'm going to express anger like this, and oh, it gives me clarity and determination, and now I feel good. But once we get to the positive emotions, ego's fucked. And so the ego's like, how am I going to feel all this pleasure and still keep the same ego structure that I know will keep me safe? And it's trying to figure out that problem, and that problem is impossible for it to solve. A problem is impossible for it to solve. So it creates more and more fake problems. And maybe, at least in my experience, the thing that makes the ego easier to let go of or quiet or be okay with changing is seeing and trusting and connecting with higher power, connecting with at one level the parts of me that are bigger or different than my ego. You could also say God, you could say soul, higher power. You get the idea.
I'm gonna go more scientific here.
Cool.
Which is like at every moment, every present moment, your brain is getting like, I think it's like over 11, that's a million bits. This is like kind of pseudoscience, but bits of information, and your sense of self is like 2% of that present moment experience. So everything that's arising, that's in conscious awareness that your sense of self is grasping, is a minuscule amount of all the information you have. And the way that I view it is a sense of self is a model within a model of like, the way that I explain that is like, imagine the brain, the entire brain, and your entire body and brain as a computer that is constantly generating the world simulation of everything, everywhere, all the time that's happening, right? So your brain and your body is taking in all the information and generating this world for you at every moment. Now, this world is just flowing. You're not making the world appear. The world is just happening. You're just talking. Like if you talk, you're just talking. The talking is happening even before you think, and your ego is happening. You're just hearing. You're just thinking. The thinking is happening before your ego, your sense of self, can even realize it. The thought happens, and then your sense of self sees it. Every little thing is just happening in this massive field of awareness. And then there's no control in any of it. It's full unfolding, but there's this perceived misunderstanding that this can't just keep happening. Like some things in this field is wrong. This emotion is wrong. This thing is wrong. I'm wrong. I'm bad. Whatever is happening in this field is wrong. Then there's like a hiding away from that. And that's like the ego. And it's like, you're like forming this ball of like tangled up, like hiding from sense, like the present moment, that's creating strategies for the flow to not happen. And that becomes a sense of self. And then people like live from that place. And then the figuring out is always going to come from that place of defending against current reality that's always unfolding, because your thoughts are happening on its own. Your voice is happening on its own, your hearing is happening on its own, your seeing is happening on its own, your feeling is happening on its own. So all the strategies to like manage the present moment is the only thing that's not happening on its own, but all is also kind of happening on its own. So if you like let it all just flow, which is you let your authentic expression of your sense of self just continue to happen, it is like being with God, being with everything and allowing it to move is my perception of it. And then when I did like Goenka retreats or like any Vipassana retreats, the way that the sense of self is described is also like we have our modes of perception and then they get tangled up, and then the tangle itself is a sense of self.
Boom. And I want to add the Art of Accomplishment Identity podcast is so good if anyone's interested in that. Also, another resource you reminded me of is the URL is theopensource.life. I'm going to literally check theopensource.life. Yep. So fucking good. If you want to go deeper on what Samek was just talking about, that's a talk by Jeff Lieberman, which is the best connection between science and spirituality I've ever heard. And he explains so well and so clearly the relationship between identity and perceived sense experience and the experience of God and the experience of metacognition and the experience of the flow of perception, etc. It is banger. Highly recommend. And taking some things from those, I think what you said was a little overly negative on identity, which I think even if you unkink all those things, there's no trauma. I think there's still a sense of identity, and I think you would agree with that.
Yeah.
And so, just that to say, like, in our culture, a lot of ego is everything Samek said, and also identity just does have a useful purpose. Anyway, and kind of like soul making, which is like, what's the playful construction that makes life even more beautiful? It's like, what's the playful identity from love and for love that makes everything even more beautiful and enjoyable? Because I definitely don't think it's no identity. And I think that is also impossible other than for like maybe moments. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's that thread, which I'm good on, but anything else for you on that thread or on what's on the horizon for you?
No, I'm great.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm good to end it here. How about you?
It's great.
Sweet.
And like I say every week, we're going to continue doing this for as long as we enjoy it.
Boom. That is our promise to you. Thanks everyone for listening. I really enjoyed this today, sir. I'm excited to listen back to it. And I hope everyone has some country music and God and fried chicken in their near future. See y'all later.
Bang.